welcome everybody. It's a great day here in California, and I'm excited to talk to our friend Jimmy Kelly today, who's got some exciting news, I guess, for us from Lone Wolf. So maybe Jimmy is the CEO of Lone Wolf. For those, I think you're pretty famous or infamous. I think everybody knows who you are, but it's good to let them know anyway. So why don't you tell us, maybe if you want to give us a little update on Lone Wolf in general, and then if you want to tell us about your exciting piece of news, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. So first of all, Marilyn, good to see you. Thanks for having me. And hello to everybody that either thinks I'm famous or infamous. Yeah, no, Lone Wolf has been on a journey over the past couple of years to deliver an industry cloud for agents, brokers, teams to try to help make their jobs easier, right? Our goal and our mission is to simplify real estate. And so we have been designing and developing and deploying software to help streamline and drive efficiencies for the workflow so that agents and brokers can spend more time with their clients and less time worrying about software. The big announcement today is we are excited to launch a brand new partnership between Lone Wolf and Follow Up Boss, where we are going to tightly integrate Lone Wolf's foundation with Follow Up Boss CRM so that agents, brokers, and teams can kind of sync contacts and transactions back and forth between Follow Up Boss and Foundation, and then give access for Follow Up Boss users to all the other tools that we bring that drive efficiency, whether it's Cloud CMA, which a bunch of those agents and teams use, our transaction management platform called Transactions, digital marketing with Boost. Those users will get access to all those tools to drive greater efficiencies.
That's great. So will it be sort of a package that I could buy through Follow Up Boss or through Lone Wolf to get that whole package all in one place, or would you still buy it from two separate companies?
Yeah, so right now it's just buying it from Lone Wolf direct. There's e-commerce capabilities within Foundation where an agent can access those tools and buy them. But Follow Up Boss is more than welcome to sell my tools to their agents should they want to.
Of course, we all want new distribution channels. So tell us, just like, give us like maybe like a practical use case of if someone is a Lone Wolf customer and a Follow Up Boss customer, tell me like a day in the life. What will that mean tactically for them to make their lives easier?
Yeah, if you think about today, and we do have a lot of shared customers, right? We're two of the largest kind of platforms in the space. And today there's no integration between those two tools. So if I'm an agent, I may be working my database, my contacts in Follow Up Boss, and then I want to go on a listing presentation. I've got to go and log into Lone Wolf and enter my contact information to do a listing presentation. Maybe I win that presentation. I'm doing everything in a separate system today to, create a boost advertising for that listing to try to drive interest. And then, I get a transaction on it and I have to do all that stuff. None of that information exists over in my CRM. And so in order to keep track of that contact record and the things that I've done with that customer, I have to now enter it manually in Follow Up Boss in two different systems. We're going to eliminate that as an inefficiency. And really, it's just to drive more productivity and hopefully more business for those agents.
That's great. That's just, you're going to make their lives a lot easier.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's the goal, right? Obviously, I've got CRMs that I deliver to the market today.
Mhm.
And so this is kind of a different view of the world. We want to partner with even solutions that we compete with because the overall goal is more important. The overall goal is to drive greater efficiencies for those agents and help them be more productive.
That's awesome. So I love that vision of like you say, drive efficiencies, make it easier for people to do business. Where else do you see the kind of recent innovations within the Lone Wolf platform where you've been able to help people do that? Because it's hard enough to do business right now. You don't want your technology fighting you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The Lone Wolf Foundation Industry Cloud is pretty unique in the space. We spent a lot of time with customers, with our advisory board, and obviously using heat maps on our existing tools to figure out what do agents use, what do brokers use, where do they spend their time, where do they have hangups. And when we put together Foundation, it is a seamless user experience end to end. So all of that technology that I mentioned has the
Mhm.
same look and feel. So you can imagine moving from a contact record through a transaction, through a CMA, frankly, all the way into our accounting platform. It looks and feels the same. So you don't really know that you've moved products, if you will. They're all modular built and it's seamless. So from an onboarding, a training, and an ease of use perspective, it drives tremendous productivity and efficiency. If you add to that the AI component that we have feathered in and will continue to invest in, it really drives efficiencies for our agents.
So tell us more about that AI component. That's the hot topic of the day these days. What have you done
Yeah,
to make it easier
to
for
be honest
people?
with you, I try to avoid it because it is the hot topic of the day. And, we use it mostly on the CRM side today, but we've got a number of use cases that we're in proof of concept for with
Hmm.
certain agents that to drive greater efficiencies kind of in the transaction cycle that'll be coming out soon. Uh, My view of AI is, take the buzzword of the day aside. I do think it's going to become a core component of any real estate platform on a go forward basis, but it's just going to be something that end users expect as opposed to a wow feature that people will say, oh, I can write your email for you and you can edit it and send it out, or I can kind of monitor your contacts and make sure that you're keeping current with your customers. And when, that's just going to be assumed, and we've got some, I think, more interesting UK use cases coming down the line.
Oh, I can't wait to see them. Let us call us again when when they're
Absolutely.
out. We'd love to hear more about that. That's
I'll get in
terrific.
trouble if I share more than that, but it is something that everybody should be expecting.
Yeah, kind of the way we kind of look at it at WAV Group is if the companies that AI, like you said, AI is going to become just baked in. It's sort of like we don't care how the internet works, it just works. Same kind
Exactly.
of thing, right? We
Yep.
don't need to know the under the hood. It doesn't matter. But I think the efficiencies and the questions you can ask or the things that it can solve are just going to become more and more and more, like you say, seamless, but just we're all gonna have to move faster, but the system's gonna do it for us. But if you don't catch up, you are really gonna be behind. Like either you go in, and it sounds like Lone Wolf is, which is awesome, or get out of the way because you're not gonna make it.
The trick though, Marilyn, is some users will love to embrace that type of technology and have the system work for them.
Hmm.
We have also many users that will say, I don't want that. I want to look at everything. I want to review everything. I want to touch everything. I want to approve it. So we're going to have kind of a duality of
Hmm.
vision as we leverage those tools, because the end user at the end of the day is the one that's going to want the efficiency, or they're going to want just the control over that efficiency as they kind of deliver the solution. So it's an interesting place to be.
It is. I kind of use the analogy of self-driving cars. I am way too much of a control freak to want my car to do it for me.
I'm with you 100%, but there will be people that will love that and
Right.
go hands free and do 20 other things while the car is driving. I will never be able to adopt that, but that's just me.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just where we grew up or how I don't know. Anyway, well, that's great. So maybe just a couple of general questions, because I don't get to talk to you very often. It's exciting to
Sure.
to hear what's going on in that amazing brain of yours. When you look out at the landscape right now for brokers, I know brokers obviously has been a key component, target and audience for you for many, many years. What advice do you want to give them right now to kind of get through this, whatever the heck this market is? I don't even know how to describe it anymore. What advice do you have for them?
Yeah.
Someone that's looking at it across, so many countries or so many markets.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So first off, you need to understand the lone wolf brain is not my brain. There's a ton of people that work for me that have all the great ideas. I just get the luxury of evaluating them and saying, yeah, let's go for that one, or no, let's not. If we had to rely on my brain for everything, I don't know we would be as successful as we are today. But as far as brokers, you're right. It's 3 years into a mushy market, maybe, depending upon where you live and what the local flavor is. But it's not great, regardless of which location you're in. I think from my perspective, obviously, I'm going to take a technology viewpoint. Um, I think now is the time for brokers to lean in and invest in their technology, because when the market turns, and it will turn, they'll
Mhm.
be better off having done so now. And
Mhm.
selfishly, I'll say that if you can find a partner from a software vendor perspective that can deliver many of the tools that you and or your agents need to be successful,
Mhm.
can drive greater cost savings in that type of relationship, not just purely from a workflow and an efficiency perspective, but if you buy multiple tools from one software vendor and you lean into them as a partner, you will
Mhm.
find economies of scale in that investment.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let me ask the hard question that I know that slows many brokers down. And sometimes it's not the broker owner, it's the accounting manager or the transaction coordinator or someone in the mix that works with the technology that was like, no, don't move my cheese.
Sure.
So what I 100% agree with you. It makes sense that you would have there's just a depth of a partnership you can create. There's a financial partnership, but there's also just, you know, their brand better. You understand how their culture works and right. You just know them better. They know you better. It just works better. Um, what are you doing to support brokers in that? I'm going to pick on accounting because I know that is one of the ones that's the most difficult to shift. What do you do to help people ease that burden of if they've decided it really does make sense? How do you get them from one system to another?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's people. We invest a lot in people and a lot in training. I mean,
Hmm.
from an onboarding perspective, we have videos and we have self-guided capabilities, but in accounting, you're right, it's a little bit different. And so we spend a lot of time with accountants going through very detailed onboarding around their chart, how they close their month, what type of reports they need to make sure that they get comfortable with how they use it. And then
Hmm.
we've got a program around, we'll call it post go live.
Hmm.
The nice thing about accounting is you know what's coming, right? You know that you have end of month, you know you have 1099s, you know you have to close the books. You can plan for these events
Hmm.
and essentially design training and what we will call customer success moments
Hmm.
around those events to make sure that customers that are new on that accounting journey get comfortable, and we proactively reach out to help them when they're about to embark upon that next step in using the software. It's
Got it.
really just a people centric, customer centric approach to making sure that they're successful.
Yeah, it's just it's tough, you know, when you have that much. Any of us know if you have that much history somewhere, it's hard to
It's difficult.
get away from it. So one of the things I love about end-to-end solutions is that you do understand a lot of, well, you understand the workflow, but you understand a lot of the components and you collect a lot of data along the way, right? Of who's doing what, where they're exiting, where they're coming in, how can I convert them, how did I not convert them? Do you see in your vision of moving forward of better ways to help brokers sort of operationally evaluate their business using the data from that end-to-end solution?
So absolutely. Obviously, data is a very kind of interesting topic. We'll call it. It's got a lot of good and bad to it. I think the first and foremost thing to understand is while we have data in our platform, it's not our data. It's our customers' data. It's the
Mhm.
broker. It's the MLS. It's their data. And so how we use it and what we use it for, we follow very strict data rights policies. But
Mhm.
when I was talking about how we're looking at AI and how we're going to apply it in the future,
Mhm.
um, you can think of using that data better for those brokers within our platform as a very realistic use case in the short term.
Okay.
Just efficiency driven, but it is efficiency driven from a like perspective. There's a lot of stuff coming, but from a insights perspective, like we already have, which is a huge tool for our customers to understand their business and how they compare against their peers in the space. But there are improvements to that coming
Mm-hmm.
out with data as well. So, I mean, the long answer to your easy question is yes.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be mindful in how we use that data and who we make it available to in order to use it properly.
Yeah, data security and data control and is super important. I'm glad to hear you talk about that. One of the things that we think about at WAV Group a lot is helping brokers understand how to use data like that, because many times brokers are people, right? They've grown up as great salespeople, then they become sales managers, and then many times they buy their own brokerage, or sometimes they start it right out of the gate. But our industry doesn't come from sort of the enterprise business analysis type of mindset. It's a bunch of people that love to work with people, right?
Sure.
What do you think is helpful, or what do you envision doing to help brokers understand how to tap into that data to help them understand how to sort of better manage those razor thin margins and razor thin profitability that they've got in their business?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, we'll probably lean on partners like the WAV Group and others to work with those brokers. I mean, we're software providers,
Mm-hmm.
not consultants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an army of consultants. We understand, at a broker level, when you're reaching out from a support perspective, or even, our customer success agents that are assigned to brokers, we know their business, we know what they're charged with. But what you're talking about, I think, is a more deep relationship to kind of get into the guts of the data.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have dashboards that will point to, different things that a broker can do,
Mm-hmm.
helping them apply that data set to changing a policy, a commission structure. Those are things that we will look for partners to help us with.
Yeah, we're actually doing some work in reorganizing commission structures right now. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, Victor told me that last time I spoke to him. I thought it was
yeah, it's
really interesting work.
yeah, there's people that have 200 agents and 200 commission plans. It's just, I don't know how they keep track of it. And I don't know how your software helps them keep track of it, because it's a lot to manage it from an accounting perspective.
The amazing thing is our back office accounting platform can handle just about any commission structure thrown at it. And so when you say there's 200 agents and 200, that doesn't surprise me, only because I see the back end data.
Hmm.
But streamlining that and being kind of more directed toward how you want to control the margin of the business is a different strategy than just laying out a bunch of commission plans for people, right?
That's exactly right. And I mean, broker margins are terrible to begin with,
Yep.
and they're getting hit from all sides, right? They're getting hit from downward commission pressure for all these wonderful lawsuits we went through, the market itself, the days on market are expanding. Now we're starting to see sales prices start to drop. They're just getting hit from all sides. And so I'm glad to hear Lone Wolf looking at that and saying, what are ways that we, as their sort of their technology backbone, can help point out potential opportunities, or even better yet, just save money for them, period. So that's great. Okay, anything else you want to share with us about the follow-up bus integration at this point?
No, I think from my perspective, making sure that the end users know this is a partnership between
Mhm.
us and Follow Up Boss. This isn't something that we're just throwing out there. We spent some time understanding our customers, the shared agents and teams that we have. And so it is a deep integration where the contact and transaction records will flow between systems, really to drive efficiencies. And I know that their agents and teams will be very excited to have access to our tools around Boost and CMA and Transact without having to worry about the data not going back and forth between the two. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be very well received.
I know it will be, because I tell you, we've done broker surveys and agent surveys, but particularly broker surveys for probably the past 5 years. And the biggest pain point that always comes up is, why do these things not talk to one another?
Yep.
So you already fixed it within your own system. Now you add another component to it. That really does make life a lot easier for people, so they can just get back to business.
Yeah, we think this is going to be the future of real estate tech, where we do a better job on behalf of our customers, integrating and sharing data across multiple platforms. I'll still try to tell you that my tools are better than anyone else's. But if someone chooses to say, well, I've lived on this CRM for 20 years, I don't want to leave, my job, our job is to help them still be successful. So,
So even within your core platform, if someone wants to decouple, I'm going to pick on accounting. I don't know why accounting's my bugaboo today. If someone said, I like the rest of the platform, but I want to decouple and use my own accounting system or my own CMA or other things, is it possible for people to integrate at other points within the system as well?
yeah, so the way we built Foundation is every software component that you would think of, we think of it as a module. So they're
Mm-hmm.
all modular built. Behind the scenes, the data flows seamlessly, but then on top, there's an API layer that we've built.
Okay.
You can plug and play different tools into that workflow and deliver kind of a very consistent user experience, even though a third-party tool might get. So the short answer is yes.
Good. Okay.
And this, what we're announcing with Follow Boss is the first of many to come.
Great. Well, I'm excited to hear about more of them. Keep us in the loop. Well, thank
Absolutely.
you so much, Jimmy. I really appreciate talking to you today and thanking you for sharing your vision of what Lone Wolf's doing to help brokers and agents succeed. We need more and more companies like you because it's tough out there right now. So thank you so much. You have a
Marilyn,
great
thank
day.
you.